La 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 la.
Ready? Okay. Hey everyone, what's up? What's up?
Hi, we're back again with a new episode.
Yeah, new episode.
Today is another chilled one, and if you notice, we're in a different setting. Someone cleaned his room.
Oh, who that is?
Yeah, we're having a little change in setting.
Because we are so lazy to do it in the daytime, so we decided to just like procrastinate and then do it later, like right now.
Yeah, so we're testing how it goes during the night. It might be a bit quieter, though maybe there's no difference because it's MCO. But yeah,
I don't get it. What do you mean?
because daytime should also still be quiet since people are not allowed to.
Our neighbors are all around. They're like, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Kids shouting now and then and all that.
Yeah, true.
Mm.
But then no vehicles outside.
Yeah, no vehicles.
Anyway, random talk and a bro intro song.
Dum, dum, da, 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 dum, dum, da, 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 dum, da, 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 dum.
Tripping of chasing minds.
Okay, so what's happening today?
Well, we kind of got talking about education, like especially during these changing times,
We
right?
don't need no education.
Actually, wrong rhythm and melody,
yeah.
but anyway.
What about education you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think like because times are really changing, so there's a lot of need to rethink how we
Yeah.
do education and the role of the educator.
I mean, did you read the news the other day that they said graduates now are going to find they're going to have more difficulty finding jobs because, many companies are closing down. The tourism industry has been so badly affected and hit by COVID-19.
Yeah.
So, I think there needs to be a change in the way how education is conceived.
Yeah, because I think it's been a long time. I mean, like, there's always been noise or like protest around how we are taught that you must choose the career, then you learn things toward that one
Yeah.
path.
Which is kind of dumb because, people, we know of quite a number of people who changed their careers over the years, right? I mean, myself too. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like personally for me, having gone from accounting to, I also studied law at the same time, and then I dabbled a bit into sales, but it really wasn't for me. And then now into counseling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what I've learned is that actually there is no easy path. So it's really about knowing that you want to take on that challenge and then stick to it.
Yeah. If you can go back, to your younger self, what advice would you tell your 5-year-old, 10-year-old self?
My 5-year-old self wanted to be a maid, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but you think about it, some maids, right? I mean, like, there's actually a school in Italy or France where they train people to be butlers, professional butlers. That's also maid, right? You can make a lot of money, and they make a lot of money. Learning how to serve VIPs and all that.
I feel I'm a little bit the opposite because when I was 5 or 10 years old, my dad was very much of like, if you want to do that, then go do it. So I think I was more idealistic when I was younger. But maybe I would have told my 17-year-old self, I was very like, I have so many interests, it's so broad. What should I become? Like, I can't see what it is. Maybe I would have told my 17 or 18-year-old self that no path's going to be easy. Just do something that is authentic to you, and you will find a way. It's going to be challenging, but you will find a way, as long as you put all your heart into it, I guess.
Yeah. If I were to see my 7-year-old self, I would, what I wanted to be when I was very young? An astronaut. But because of my height,
Can you speak like?
because of my height, because of what else? I'm not one of the most brilliant kids.
Mhm.
I also got very poor eyesight, so I never really, I think it was just like a dream. It never really materialized. So that was what I wanted to become. But I think throughout my whole life, I had always been drifting. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But if I were to tell my 7-year-old self, I would say, yeah, just do what you want to do. Don't care. But actually, I've always been doing what I've always wanted to do. But yes, I would have told my 7-year-old self, don't give a shit about what your teachers say about you.
Mm.
Don't let the world, society tell you you cannot be who you want to be. And I think that is something I would have done. I mean, I always think about my, primary school days. One of those defining moments is actually one of my teachers saying that I will not do well,
Yeah.
and I think, yeah, not just not do well, but not do well in life.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of those things that made me, I was so young, so stoned, I'm like, oh, really? Oh, then my mom was also at wit's end, didn't know what to do with me. I'm like, how
But
to
you
help
know-
this kid?
You know what? I feel like the male population tends to have this experience with the
Yeah, I
education
mean-
system.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've seen so many of my schoolmates face that. I even was bullied in I wasn't really bullied in kindergarten. There was this boy,
Mm,
and he was always like playing with his toys in like new and different ways, or like actually he wanted to play with me and then he would take it and then like show me something. And because I was so quiet and
mm,
obedient or whatever, my teachers always thought he was bullying me. But the thing is, like, I actually admired like probably like boys like you who kind of seem to be having your own way or your own
mm. I mean, I was
thing.
somewhat fortunate. My mother didn't really, punish me for being dumbass kid, right?
Hmm.
Well, maybe once or twice, but yeah, I mean,
I think she only punished you when you were being
Yeah.
naughty.
yeah, and so yeah, I think one of the problems with the education system is it doesn't cater to individual needs, especially in a very contemporary society. The policymakers see kids as anybody, potential human resource personnel as just objects that need to go through a conveyor belt system, and a factory. So at the end of the factory, you come out a graduate who is like, wow, a high performer, high income earner, and all that. So in a way, they kind of neglect the individual need. They see everyone is like, yes, you can be a doctor, and you will be a doctor, sort of thing.
Mm.
And if you don't fall in that system, what happens? Then you end up in
Yeah.
class pemulihan.
But I mean, it's not to say it's completely off because it works for certain people.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
So
a
I mean, like
It's
now
a
we
cookie
have.
cutter, right?
Yeah.
It's a cookie
Yeah.
cutter but it's a template of a cookie cutter. If you don't fit in there, what happens? You end up in vocational school, and
Mm.
vocational, actually, think about it. If you know a trade,
Yeah, now would be very useful.
yeah, it'd be very useful. To be a plumber.
I mean, also not to say now doctors are actually really useful.
yeah, but
Engineers.
I mean, not everyone wants to be a doctor. Not everyone can be a doctor.
Yeah.
But it's just that what I'm trying to say is that the vocational school is not as bad. It's actually on equal par
Yeah.
as the normal standard schooling system.
Yeah.
But so the point is, right, you have all these policymakers saying, yes, we're gonna do this grand vision of education. So they create these cookie cutters
Mm.
policies that if you don't fall in here, then you go in here,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. But actually, education should not be seen like that.
Yeah.
So it should be normal to have, let's say, a kid in class who is 2 or 5 years age
Yeah.
difference. I mean, I think that is fine.
Mm.
Just because you don't fit in something, it doesn't mean that you are useless. So they create this whole system like a factory
Mm.
to treat. In a sense, I feel the individual needs
Ignored.
are ignored,
Yeah.
right?
But I mean, of course, we also do know of amazing teachers who do,
Oh yeah,
do
yeah.
work to.
But they have to do it within the
yeah.
confines, the
Yeah.
limitations of the
Yeah.
system.
So we just wanted to give a brief shout out to those teachers who are taking the extra effort.
Teachers!
Yeah, like I mean, even lecturers that we had on your page the other day, Dr. Aisha, she took the effort to send food to a student who was
Yeah, I mean,
in a lockdown.
but these people are very rare to find
Yeah.
as well. You know, now that I'm out of the system, I can actually reveal some deep down secrets. Like, you know, one of the things we, as a university lecturer, one of the things we have to do, and I know my students as well who are teachers themselves in secondary schools, right?
Mm,
This is what happens. We are all in a way pressured to ensure that our students pass.
hmm.
So if the student doesn't do well, then you know we are answerable. Why didn't this student do well?
Yeah.
And then they were always. I remember in my early days as a young lecturer, I remember failing a few students because I thought really they didn't belong in there. They didn't have that level, right? So I failed them. So we had this meeting, right? Meetings where it's called the pre-board meetings where we all sit down and we all discuss. Okay, now open up to the floor. What do you all think about this student, this candidate? Do you think this person can pass? Should we bump up the marks by 1 or 2 or 5 so that that person will pass? And in a way, I thought to myself, like, what's the purpose of we passing, right, if it doesn't meet certain standards? Now, of course, I kind of understand where the university is coming from because they were playing that game of that conveyor belt system, a factory. If they don't graduate, what happens? Then the students have to go through another system. So it's like, it's very, very difficult in the contemporary sense of education to create very personalized needs. You meet the personal needs of each student,
Yeah.
which is a shame, I feel.
Yeah.
So then what do you think is the ideal form of education?
I was just thinking, I forgot which European country was this. Do you happen to remember?
Which one?
I don't know whether it's Sweden or Switzerland,
Finland?
Maybe Finland.
Which one? The one of the top ranking?
Yeah, so
Oh yeah.
they just treat it like what we would think of as homeschool,
Yeah.
but so they have people just come, all the students come in and just study, pick up whatever book they feel like studying that day, and then work on it. And then the teacher will be guiding all these students. I mean, maybe the way education system's working now is like thinking, oh, how do I educate as many people as possible at one go?
Yeah.
And they do it in the sense of everyone study the same thing. But this one was more like the teacher and how you learn is the same.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some tools and whatnot, but then we cater to different people and for different interests or different skill levels. Yeah. So it's like a broader sense of what education is. Now it's very syllabus based. Like, I mean, but then again, I always thought it's no denying that we still need to learn ABC. We still need to learn the basics of math.
But it can be done in a way that engages the needs of the individual.
Yeah.
Like some people are more kinesthetic than others. Some are more visual. Some are more like auditory.
Mm.
That reminds me. We want to talk about teachers. Like who are the best teachers in your life and who are the worst teachers in your life?
Wow.
Maybe just for the interest of time, right? Keeping it short.
Yeah.
So maybe you could think of one teacher who was the best and the worst.
Oh, I can't think of like a specific worst teacher.
Why? There were so many.
It was my primary school teachers. So that's why I can't say who was the worst.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I actually don't remember a lot of them. Almost like I do know a couple of friends, like my best friend in primary school,
Shumin.
Shumin. Yeah. I mean, she went off in standard 3 because she's like top tier student. She went off to Singapore, but even she said she wiped out all memory of primary school, and she was like top student, and she didn't like it, and she disagrees with how the teachers teach us, and I also wiped out a lot of my memory of primary school.
What did the teachers do that made you have this
It
kind of
was-
trauma?
It was very fearful. Like my mom said, the first couple of weeks of school, I came home and I would be trembling. I was so scared of the teachers. And yeah, and I remember I used to come home like dinner time and then I'll hide under the dining table refusing to eat. And I think I never understood why I did that, but I think it was because I was so stressed out from schooling.
What did the teachers do?
So let's say simple example is like every single thing is about caning.
Oh, I remember.
if you don't do this, you get caned. So even like if your shoes are not wide enough, you get caned. Your hair
The
is not
fuck?
yeah, your hair is not short enough. So like boys couldn't have hair like this; they had to have crew cut, and then your nails not sharp, not short enough, you get caned. And
You know what? I think this kind of like psychopathic teachers, they got into the whole profession because they want to control those things.
no, but there was some teachers, like some classes had better
Yeah,
teachers.
psychopathic teachers.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
There were a couple of them.
They might have seen like these kids vulnerable and they are easy to control.
Well, it was also instructions from the headmistress at that time.
We are another psychopathic.
Yeah, she
Bitch.
actually one time she caned. Well, I mean, she's caned people in front of the assembly before, but there was another time it was so impromptu because a couple of kids were trying to skip school, so she dragged them into her room, and then she suddenly turned on the PA to broadcast to the whole school and said, "This is what happens if you try and skip school. You're gonna hear me cane these boys right now."
You know what's the funny thing? There are, I don't know whether now it's the same thing happening in all these Chinese schools, but
No, apparently, like at least that school I went to, they're not allowed to cane anymore.
okay. But I mean, do they still inflict that kind of psychological
I
trauma?
don't think so, but I guess another trauma would be we always had tons of homework to do
Yeah.
every single day. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible, right?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that always came to mind. I was like very proud of my English when I was in school because I loved Enid Blyton.
Yeah.
So I read a lot. But so when I had a spelling test, and I was so proud, I got 9 out of 10. But guess what? I still got caning.
What?
Yeah, for that one mistake.
What's wrong with your teacher? Seriously, what's wrong with people sometimes, right? How about your best experience, the best teacher you had?
Actually, maybe you share first because I talked a lot about my worst experience.
I think I had a music teacher that was a terrible teacher. Now, now that I'm an adult and I'm also an educator, I look back and reflect on her own teaching. Sometimes when I play the piano and she would just like, stop, stop, stop. And then she would sometimes take the ruler and just like you made a mistake again. Like, how am I supposed to enjoy music, when you tell me it must be like that, it must be like this? And I never actually, although I finished my grade 8, but these days I have instrument trauma. I struggle to actually play the piano. I can't play very well because my
So
teacher.
scared of making that
Yeah.
mistake, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. She's just a very terrible, and I mean that's one teacher. Another teacher was the one which I said earlier, who said I would not be doing well in life.
But you're like so shocked about all my experiences with my teachers in
yeah.
primary school, and then you talked about your piano teacher like
Yeah.
hitting. I don't know. It feels very normalized to me now. Like I'm like, oh yeah,
I mean,
that happens.
But it's something that, I mean, having gone through all that, at least now we know this is not what we should do when we teach, especially kids, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
On the flip side, we can't be too lenient as well.
yeah. So best teachers for me, I think it would be actually a number of people. One of them is my former academic advisor in Penang when I did my first degree. So I was, like I said, I was always drifting. So one day I was asked to go and see her in her room, right? And we sat down, and the way she carried herself was so like professional, and she had a doctor in front of her name. And then, when she picked up the phone, called people, she's like, "Yeah, I need this done." Da, da, da. I looked at her, then I said, "Wow, I want to be like that. I want to be confident of myself. I want to be knowledgeable, like her." So I said to her, I kind of know what I want to be now in the future. I said, "I'm going to be a lecturer, just like you." And she looked at me and laughed. "You sure? It's going to be like 9, 10 years of your life in agony and loneliness. You willing to go through that?" And I was like,
See, she tells you like the real
yeah.
reality.
But she was very, very supportive. And yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to have had wonderful teachers like her, and yeah. And these kind of teachers, they recognize the needs. Like, this is what you actually need as a person, and that makes them
Yeah,
great
because she did
teachers.
mention the loneliness.
Yeah.
Although, like for you, normally it's okay, but she recognized that it's a need for some people
Yeah.
to have jobs where they work
Yeah.
with a lot of people. Like for me, I prefer working in teams. Yeah. So I would say my best teacher, I was thinking my dad. What comes to mind is like I would watch advertisements or horror movies with him, and he always talked through it with me, like advertisements, like McDonald's and like Barbie dolls back then. And the way he sort of veered me away from the brainwash that is amazing advertising
Yeah.
is say, yeah, actually this kind of thing is not really so nice. How much you think it costs to make a hamburger? He said, yeah, you buy the hamburger, then you buy this. So do you need it or not? And I was like, I guess not. He said, yeah, you can make it yourself. Yeah. So that's I like how he talked me through like real things
Yeah.
in real life, and that I feel has helped me think or conceptualize things.
So for the sake of our listeners out there as well, what are some of your advice if people are still like looking for education guidance? What would you say to them?
I would say you have to really explore, like look out for
Yeah,
things like
I agree.
yeah, I was gonna say another best experience of teachers is actually my doing all the workshops for counseling outside of university. Like my current supervisor, Farah, I really enjoy her workshops, and how I signed up for it was just really like asking a friend about this kind of work, and then recommended that. And then she said she's running some workshop on mindfulness, which always intrigued me. So I was like, went there, and I was like, oh, I really like how she teaches. I really like how she encourages you. She never says like what you're doing is wrong. She's just saying like, you should do more of that and do less of this. What would be more helpful is do more of this. So I always found that very encouraging. And I feel like, I can do more and more, rather than I need to do less.
But the reason why you also got to know Farah is because, and that group is because you took that first step to explore something new.
Yeah.
Right, out of the comforts of prescribed education, like the ULC is providing this.
Yeah, like although I was in masters in counseling, I found I enjoyed the education outside of the university setting.
Yeah.
Compared to.
And I think that's what everyone needs to do. If you really want to learn, don't rely on formal education alone, because I think you can learn a lot more outside. Because sometimes within the confinements of the formal education, you might think that, I just need to study all of this. So yeah, I mean, I think if you were to study outside of the education system, you don't limit yourself to what people tell you that you must learn. Because, if you study outside, then you will see more colors.
Yeah, I agree. Or you gain a because like you said, there are different people learn different ways, right? So which reminds me when you talk about that, one of my oldest, longest friend, Ki Hong, he's a bit like you.
A bit like me.
Yeah, he was very mischievous. I mean, you're
Okay.
not so mischievous, but he was very playful in class one lah. And everyone's always like, oh, he never does his homework.
Yeah.
He's very playful. He's not going to do well, but he always did like better than people thought he would do. And it was only in secondary school that I realized how he learned was he would read the textbook, but then it would be something like he doesn't get why, let's say like biology, doesn't get what does it mean by the cell is like this or like that. And he would actually go and search up what does that particular text mean. Whereas like, you know, I was so used to I did well in school, like throughout primary, because all we needed to do was read the textbook, memorize, and then churn it out. Whereas he took the effort to learn
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
yeah, he became a really brilliant student, got scholarship to study overseas, and is a medical doctor overseas now.
Mm.
Oh, you should share about Jeffrey Young, how he learned how to make guitar.
Yeah, so this guy, Jeffrey Young, is a guitar luthier. I made one guitar with him. I don't think the guitar is here. So this guy, you know, he taught himself because Malaysia doesn't have like school that teaches.
So he's like Malaysia's first ever luthier.
I wouldn't say I'm not sure whether first or what,
Mm.
but he's one of those. He's a self-made guy lah.
Mm.
Basically, he learned how to make guitars on his own self. He went to the car mechanic workshops, the carpentry shops to learn how these people use the tools to do things.
Mhm.
So from there, he tries, he experiments, and now he's a master at what he does.
Yeah. And I think another message I would like to just drop here. Yes, we say take it outside the system,
Yeah.
be creative, be authentic about who you are, be genuine to who you are, and
Yeah.
then but also it won't be an easy path. It's nice to follow that whole written path for you.
Yeah.
I would say it's going to be challenging. I won't deny that your income will take a total cut,
Mm.
but we know that now is a challenging time. People may be getting laid off
Yeah.
and needing to pick up new skills. It is going to be tough.
But not impossible. It's a great time to redefine yourself, your identity, and to
Yeah.
rise above the challenge.
Yeah. Just ensure that you're being true to yourself and you keep going. And this is your challenge to take.
So, with that, I think we hope to have inspired you in some ways. And yeah, catch us next time.
But yes, leave a comment below about your worst and best teaching or education moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so have a great day and see you all next week.
Good night.
Bye bye.